Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video we're going through the round 6, or otherwise known as round 5 in the cash video, of the trade targets, and going through all pretty much the double game week girls, as a lot of them that's pretty much what you're, I guess, targeting to a certain degree, unless they have a absolutely horrific role, because we've seen that like before in round 4 when we targeted Grace Campbell because we thought she'd get that midfield role and she didn't. So she will be probably a fix-up needed, as well as, for me particularly, fixing up the injury that I get each and every week, it seems like. So anyway, let's just jump into this video here and have it put on 2 double game weeks. We'll start in the defense and we'll have the percentage team selection. So yeah, the top 2 defenders this week to target are probably Daisy Darcy and Ruby Webster. They both do pretty well and they both average near enough the top of the line. So they're the 2 to have pretty much, as yeah, they're 2 very, very dangerous ones to have. So I'd be jumping onto them. As yeah, Daisy Darcy is just pretty much whenever she just gets herself a lot of touches, and somehow has also a really good tackling base as well. You can see here 26 tackles in 5 games is just over 5 a game, which is 20 points in itself. She also then grabs herself, I would say, that's just over 2 marks a game, so that's another, so she gets almost about 28 points in non-disposals. Even with all the free kicks she concedes as well. She's also jumped onto the scoreboard in round 4 as well. And then you had in her 30 odd, or what's that, 23, 33, 44, 53 kicks in the season. That's just over 10 a game, 10 and a bit a game. So that's like 32 points. So she's already averaging 58 or 59 points from kicks, marks and tackles. Then you add in the 5 or 6 handballs a game she has, and that's where she gets up towards that 70 marker. And that's why she's so dangerous. Ruby Webster here, Rebecca Webster. You can see she does it in a similar way, I would say. High-ish tackling numbers, but then again, she also is very, very consistent with getting her a lot more kicks per game, actually, if you actually look at it. So she's at 30, 50, she's at 60 kicks in total, which is another 7 on the likes of Daisy Darcy, which makes up for probably a slightly less tackling base. She's only on the, 9, 14, 18 tackles, so she's 8 behind Daisy Darcy. And then yeah, she does also get a lot of handballs a game, so a lot of disposals. I did like her last quarter. She, I think, moved into the midfield, I want to say. And if I go here to Geelong quickly here, you'll see, I think, yeah, you can see 44% in the midfield. So I did like that role change there. And if you look at the Gold Coast Suns there, you'll also see here Daisy Darcy has spent a little bit in the midfield. So both of these girls are both on sort of midfield as well as kick-ins, I believe, if I just quickly check this. And we go to Gold Coast Suns, you'll see Daisy Darcy 16 kick-ins, of which 15 have been, is that right to say? Yeah, 15 have been taken out quickly. And then you've got also here, we want the Geelong Cats, and you'll see Eamondson's actually on most of the kick-ins rather than Webster. So that's probably why I would favour Daisy Darcy a little bit more than Webster, just because she's getting the kick-ins more. Gold Coast aren't the greatest side, and if we look at the two games that they play, Hawthorn and Essendon versus Fremantle and Sydney, I think that Daisy Darcy probably is favoured just fractionally over the likes of Webster. McAvoy, I don't know what happened, that she had a really good game fancy-wise, but had an absolutely horrific stinker game in general, just playing-wise. And they did rack up a lot of marks, which I did like, which was good. But yeah, I just don't know if McAvoy is the one to grab up this week, just because I can't trust it as much as some of the other fancy outputs in Darcy and Webster. Kemp probably still owned a lot, but I think a lot of people will be jumping off her as she seems to be stalling. Madison Gay, I think 71, 77. She's doing all right, but I think that if you take out this 96, then that goes down to about 260 odds. So that's still 65, so it's not the worst. So she's still near enough top of the line. But I'd just be targeting Daisy Darcy and Webster first. And I think by then, if you have those two, you're probably looking at a midfielder anyway. Steen, I think that was just an outlier performance last week. O'Driscoll is one that I think is building into the year as well. So I think that she'll do pretty well in general. I think she'll get up towards that sort of 70 marker in general, but I don't think she'll be one to grab up this week. Heads, 49 last 3, average 53. Is that just an outlier performance, or is she actually just going to return back to what she was doing last year, which was around that 65 marker? So that'll be an interesting one to look at and definitely review. And then I don't think there's anyone else that I really like in the defender line. Then we move to the midfielders. Row bottom is the obvious one. If you don't have her, then you can probably jump on her this week just because 1.432 million. I think she'll dominate in this week, and I think she's probably odds on to get 230, 240 points in this double. She's probably the closest that we have to someone that can average near enough that 120 in a double week comparative to a lot of the other weeks that we haven't really had anyone. Gardner as well, I think she's hitting form as well. Almost the same price as the likes of a Charlie Rowbottom, but averaging 10 or so less just because she doesn't have that big ceiling as Rowbottom does. Breed McCarthy as well is doing all right, although she's sort of slowed down a lot and is now averaging 97, which is sort of what we sort of thought she would. And that big ceiling game that she had, that 139, I don't think she'll get back to that. I think she's more going to have those sort of 80, 90, 100 games, and I don't think she'll be that much value. Then you have Prasparkas here, 936k. I just don't know if she'll be one that you can really... I just don't know with her because she has this 39. She was injured before, missed a couple of game weeks. How is she going to hold up in the double is the big question. So I probably, if you aren't as cash strapped as me, I'd be staying away from her and just going Gardner because I think Gardner's more reliable. But I think if you need some cash quickly, then I think that Prasparkas is the one to go for. Even Holly Cooper's not the worst option just for cash generation. I don't know what her break even is, but I think she's one that could, if she gets the right role, could actually score pretty well. If we just go back to here and go to Sydney, you'll see, I don't know if she's played any bit in the CBAs at all this year. They've had 14 girls run through the CBAs, which is probably too many, to be honest with you. But yeah, you can see not any CBAs for Holly at the moment. So that probably puts that to bed. Then you have West Morrison. Morrison, I think, is the more sure product from Geelong, to be honest with you. I think she's just going to put up, especially with, Abby McDonald injured, or Amy McDonald. I forget which McDonald it is. It's right here. Amy McDonald. I think Morrison could do really well. And just want to actually check the round 6 team. Who is lined up in that centre for the Cats? Darcy Maloney, Prasparkas, Nina Morrison, Webster down back. So yeah, just looks like Darcy Maloney's going on ball, which Darcy Maloney, I'm pretty sure, is named as a midfielder. Midfielder. I wouldn't like that play anyway. I don't think she's going to score many, but that's the replacement for McDonald here, as you see, as she's out with an injury. And I don't really like any of the other midfielders down here. And then we go to the ruck line in the double, and it is Mim Strom. So you obviously have Strom playing the double. She's actually cooled down quite a lot recently, but still averaging 100, still the out-and-out best ruckman. And yeah, she's just dominating. And then you've got the forward line. You've got Frisbol is the most nominated one, but I wouldn't be going there. And then I think the actual surprise packet is probably Gabby O'Sullivan here. As you see, 101 scored in her last game. So she's one that you could target, but I don't think you would be necessarily targeting her as much. Let me just check the centre bounces for Fremantle and just check what was she doing last time out. O'Sullivan, 30%. I think she's more of a forward role, to be honest with you, comparative to all the other girls. So I don't think she'll be one that you should really be targeting as much. But anyway, I think that's pretty much the video there, going through all of the all of the trade targets. As I'm looking down here, I don't think there's anyone else that I'm really looking at and going, I need to target that person at all. So it's basically down to, and you see down here where I just saw Sheriff still sitting down here. Man, that's been such a ride. It feels like about a month and a half since I had her in the side, even though it was only, well, it was probably about a month ago. It just feels so long ago that she was in the side. But yeah, forward line, I'd be targeting pretty much no one other than maybe Gabby O'Sullivan. Ruck line, if you needed a ruck upgrade, but O'Dowd's doing just fine, then I'd be targeting the likes of Mim Strom if you can get her up. And then midfield, you'd be going Gardner or Prasparkas for value, I'd say. And then in the defender line, you'd be targeting Darcy and Webster, as well as probably the underpriced heads who just had a horrific game or two that really dropped her price in general. So anyway, that pretty much is the video there, going through all the trade targets for round 6 of the AFLW fantasy season. And I guess if you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I'll see you guys in my team reveal video later. Bye guys.